Hello, ladies and germs, and welcome to Survival Training. This show will feature discussion about everything DayZ, from the Armor 2 mod all the way to the Standalone. I'm your host, Frost from F3. Kamak is a popular DayZ streamer. Trendall is everyone's favorite Brit. And in this episode, we will discuss the Standalone and topics surrounding its release. So now that we got the formalities out the way, let's just get straight to the show. So guys, what are your thoughts so far on the Standalone and its release, considering we've all had extensive Armor 2 DayZ experience? Let's go with you, Trendall.
My views are kind of mixed at the moment. I must admit it is really good for exploring the map again, but I'm kind of let down on quite a few things at the moment.
Uh-oh, that's not good. We'll discuss all that in a minute. How about you, Kamak?
Oh, it's not bad. Like the initial like shock of the new kind of wore off, and there's some good things, there's some bad things. Overall, I'm generally happy with it.
Okay, so let's discuss. Brian Hicks, who's he's a developer for DayZ. He sent out a tweet yesterday, and the tweet was in response to respawning, both the like our respawn, the characters and the loot, and how that's like top priority in 2014, and they know what the deal is. Now, me and Trendall have a lot of issues with this, so Alex, I'm gonna throw it on you. Which do you think is more important, loot respawning or bodies not disappearing?
Well, I would say bodies not disappearing, just for the fact that there's more areas to loot, and there's much more of loot just in different places. And the body is probably the most annoying thing so far.
What about you, Trendall?
I've got to completely agree. I know this is alpha and it's all testing, but you know, when you get into those tense gun battles, when you kill someone, you're relying on what that guy had to try and replenish what you have. If their body's just going to disappear, there's nothing there to help, especially with the lack of items respawning as well.
Yeah, I agree, and it compounds too, right? So if loot is having a hard time respawning, and if loot isn't respawning, then when people obtain the loot and die, and then their body disappears, the loot that's already there ends up disappearing with it, and it isn't, I guess, obtainable by any other player post death of the original character. And I think that to me, I know me and Trendall have a big issue with that, because it's very frustrating when you see somebody very geared. And Alex, you have a video on your YouTube channel where you punch the crap out of somebody after he kills you, and you take his loot, but he's gone.
Yeah, that was a good time. It was a good time.
So yeah, that's a little bit of a problem for me as well. I know me and Trendall really hate that, but I mean, I also think that the loot respawning is a significant issue, mainly because food is pretty scarce at this point.
Right.
I know lately I've been having an issue with not being able to find food. At least the last few days that we've been playing. At first, like, you remember the first 2 days we had a major issue with food, and then it seemed to have gone away, but then it kind of resurfaced. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I can't find food anymore. I can't even find sardines or anything anywhere on the coastline. And we've been hanging around a lot in Balota specifically. Like, have you guys noticed that there's like barely any food ever anymore, or is it just me?
The entire Zelenogorsk military, South Zelenogorsk military area is barren of food. At least when I went there the other day. And I believe it's getting quite a bit smaller.
All right, so like, I know we've had a week into it, but the December 19th patch, where when Rocket changed, so we got like the animation hooks for zombies, the greeting with two-handed weapons are now allowed without disarming, some engine changes, small delays in animations for like when you unshoulder your weapon, player blood, which I thought was the biggest change of all of this, is now regenerating naturally, as opposed to before where it was not. and like all that stuff. What significant changes have we noticed from the initial release? And I believe the release was on the 16th, correct? It was on the 16th?
Yeah, I'd say something.
Yeah.
It was 18th or 16th, something like that. The 16th, I believe you're right.
I know we're going back in time, but since that was the first significant patch, I felt like we should discuss it a little bit. But what was the biggest change from day one to that December 19th release?
Oh, the biggest thing.
Yeah.
First thing I had found in the game would be the paper and pen. You could use it. Now you can't. That was I said that's the first thing that stuck out in my mind, and that was pretty much the only thing I could figure out.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I must not even pay enough attention.
That's actually pretty funny. What about you, Trendall?
Me, well, going through the patch notes, I couldn't really say anything. To be honest, I didn't get the game from day one anyway, so I can't really comment back that far. But just going through the patch notes, I can't really see much that was a significant improvement, to be honest. These look like more of things that could have been added on later on.
Yeah. Well, the thing I did notice was the restraining. So when you restrained someone and they DC'd, they died.
Yeah.
That was a significant change in that one.
Yeah, I agree. That is pretty decent. Yeah. Yeah. If you can handcuff someone and then they can just disconnect and go to another server and avoid the whole conflict, there was no point in having handcuffs. So yeah, with that added, that's perfect.
All right. So I'm going to preface this next segment with we understand that this is an alpha, so we're going to critique it as such. However, I'm pretty confident in saying that we're all really big DayZ fans. So when we speak, even if it isn't always positive about DayZ, that doesn't mean that the game is shit in our belief, or that we don't enjoy it, or whatever. But these criticisms are there for obvious reasons, because if we feel this way, obviously multiple people feel this way. So the thing that we're going to discuss next is first I guess the success of the DayZ standalone upon release. Did that surprise any of you how many people purchased it?
No, not at all. Especially after the how many they sell? 200,000 copies in like 24 hours.
Yeah, no, I mean it was pretty crazy. I didn't think DayZ would sell like that, considering. I don't know. I think after War Z, I think a lot of people quit on the genre, so I expected at least that sort of popularity to come after people initially said, hey, look, like the standalone is really cool, you got to get it. I didn't think the first day they would sell that many copies at all, actually.
I was quite surprised about how many copies they sold. Yeah. But then again, they said it was going to increase the price over time. So, a lot of smart people out there that are planning to buy the game or play the game will probably buy it from day one or as early as possible to get the price.
Now, that's actually smart too. So you think it's good business that they did this that way, right? The Arma 3 model, which was for the beta, sell cheap, like it's sold cheap, and if you purchase it during the beta, you don't have to again repurchase it when it comes out. However, if you purchase it afterwards, right, like after the initial alpha or the beta stage, you'll have to pay full price. I thought that was a genius model for Arma 3, because I remember I bought Arma 3 a long time ago and then never touched it until they started fixing some of the issues with it. And then when the Breaking Point mod came out, then I started playing that hardcore, but I realized that at that point it was already $60. So I would say that's a pretty good point you make, James, because I really think that attributed definitely to the success of that thing. I thought that was really good. Like there was over 40,000 concurrent users that day one. I thought that was like ridiculous. It's like, wow, that's pretty impressive considering if you read any forums, people were apparently like all done with the zombie thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that wasn't, and he didn't even advertise it or anything. It was just all of a sudden, bam, it was out. Mm-hmm. No one had any warning or anything. So yeah, getting 40,000 people in the first day is really good going.
Not to mention the crashes of the website and then people trying to get in,
But yeah,
overloading everything.
Yeah. So obviously, if you've been keeping up with Reddit, there's been a significant issue with people with the whole kill on site thing, right? They feel like the kill on site mentality hasn't improved. It's actually gotten worse. So let's talk about one of the biggest reasons why, and we've talked about that a lot personally, but let's just do it again for everyone else. The zombies, right? So I'm sure we're all in agreement that zombies being as inefficient as they are in this particular stage of the alpha, they're really attributing to the whole kill on site thing. Is that a good or a bad thing first, Alex?
It might get the killing on site thing out of the way, but it could, bring that mentality over from Arma 2 or DayZ mod kill on site constantly. So hopefully there's much more zombies and much more there'll be much more of a threat soon.
Yeah. And James?
yeah. If the zombies were a true threat, you'd think twice before engaging with someone. If I meet you in game and I decide I'm going to go kill you on site, I'd have to think twice. Going, there's 10 zombies back in the town behind me. They're going to hear my gunshot, and if they can keep up with me, and they will not lose sight of me, I'm going to have to think twice before shooting you next time.
Yeah, true. I just feel like it's an unfortunate byproduct of saturation, right? Like we played Arma for so long that it just became par for the course. Because I feel like the zombies were really annoying on the Arma 2 mod, right? Like I felt like they were sort of broken with their speed and just some of the stupid stuff that happened. I just think this is the byproduct of evolution within the game. Because at least the way I see it is, even if they made the zombies harder, kill on site's still going to happen because people just want to kill people. Like, I remember Vanilla DayZ, it was a little bit different. You wanted to team up. That doesn't exist. I don't want to team up with anybody now. I mean, that's just
not
me.
Difficult.
Yeah.
At the moment.
But, like, I know we've had this conversation. So, do we agree or do we disagree on the fact that if they make the zombies more difficult, that it will prompt players to team up more? Or do we think that we need more than just difficult zombies? Because I feel like we need more than difficult zombies. I don't know if we agree there. I don't think the zombie change is actually going to change the perception of anything.
I do agree, but it will slow the kill on site problem down, at least. It won't stop it, but it will definitely slow it down. There's going to be needing more than just harder zombies to stop kill on site and help teaming up. Because at the moment, if zombies were really hard and I saw you struggling, and I had a train of zombies behind me, I'd probably try and run past you and circle and then run off so you get my zombies. If that's not going to stop the kill on site, but it'll help it a little bit at least.
Let's discuss the thing that we were discussing yesterday on stream, because I really want to have this discussion. Now, we don't know if this is in the works for the zombies. We're not trying to, or for the zombies, for the devs. Yeah, the zombies. We don't know. We're not trying to speculate, but we had a discussion on stream, and it was, so I felt like having the zombie, so one of our friends, Nick, who will be on the show at some point, he suggested that zombies should be more difficult the more north you travel on the map. And my argument to him was that kind of ruins the immersion of stuff unless you make them different. And what I meant by different was I brought up the game The Last of Us, and if any of you have ever played that game, I felt the way that they did the zombie interaction was pretty interesting because the zombies, there were different levels of infection, and with the different levels of infection came this different type of zombie, right? So some would just be more agile, some would hit harder, some, like the clickers, the whole dynamic would change where they can't really see you, but they can detect you by sound. So if you're moving really slowly, you can sneak past them, but if you get hit by them once, you're pretty much dead. And I felt like if they were going to ever implement a system like that, that would need to be the system. Do you think, Alex, that the zombies should change, like they should be different alterations of zombies, or do you think that they should just increase the amount of zombies the more north you get? Alex?
Maybe both. Have herds of zombies, and maybe have rare zombies that are not necessarily like you don't see like kind of all the time, but maybe you can take like trophies from those type of zombies, like off on the map. But I think they should get harder as you go north. At least that's just my own opinion.
What about you, James?
Yeah, I completely agree with both of you. You know, if was it the Origins mod for Arma 2 Daisy?
Yeah.
Was it Dr. Ivan? You'd have if you killed him, which was like one of the hardest zombies to kill, you'd get some decent loot from him, or at least blueprints or something. Something like that, you know, when they introduce loot onto the dead zombies, the further north you get, maybe the better loot you get as well. But obviously the harder it's going to be. It needs to be balanced out. It can't just be, you know, you're on the coast with level 1 zombies, for example, and then go up to the Northwest Airfield and have level 10 zombies. There needs to be a prize for being able to take on those zombies.
Okay. I hear that. I just think that's sort of, I don't know, I guess it is a video game, right? So like I guess I'm thinking of it practically. So I'm looking at it from the perspective like DayZ is real, even though it isn't. But that's more like a video game thing. And yes, this is a video game, so I guess the way I'm looking at it is incorrect. But I mean, that makes sense. I just feel like if you're gonna, I feel like increasing the amount of zombies north is sort of very, I don't know, I just think it's strange because staying by the coastline, like ideally would be, right, like the safer play. So if you're gonna travel north, I felt like at least there need to be different types of zombies. But I guess increasing it does make some sense. I just feel like instead of that, why don't we go a step further and just have different types of zombies, and those types of zombies you see less in like the starter areas, but you see a lot more of them in the later areas. But I don't know. I got outvoted on that one.
Well, I just think it would make people explore the map more.
True.
Right now you have clusters. Really, everybody's centered in pretty much on Belota and Cherno. That's the place to be right now.
Yeah.
I was saying this yesterday, was if they could put a grid on the map from the coast being from 0 all the way to 100 up to the north.
Yeah.
And just layer the weapons and the loot that you find according to that grid, you'd be forced to go further north to find decent stuff. You know, that forces people away from the coast, forces people to explore more. You know, who wants to run around Cherno for 4 hours with a hatchet? You know, me, I want to go and find a gun. Let's go to Devil's Castle, encounter some of these deadly zombies, get some more player interaction.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Nice segue, though, because now we get to talk about the meat of the issue. Now, this is going to be very controversial, but again, I'm going to preface this with, we understand this is an alpha. We understand that this is a work in progress, and the development team is working very hard. We're fans of you, Dean, but we're going to call you out on some shit because... So, James, let's talk about the whole server-side issue that we have, which I'll let you have the floor on this one.
Server issues, there's a lot of I don't know, you can't really call them bugs, mainly exploits that are so easily fixed for a simple edit of a file that hasn't been implemented yet, and I don't understand why yet. Some of the things that he stated that were running server side,
we've tested.
I mean, yeah, we've tested, and they seem to be less and less likely that it is running server side on most things. Like, for example, zombie spawning. I'm a little bit mixed on this now. I've been trying to do some testing. It's kind of hard and I'm getting confused now. But when you hear the zombie place marker, there is a dip in your FPS and a second or so before the zombie pops up. Now, I'm not saying this isn't server side. This could be, but to me, it seems like the server's forcing my client to do some work to get that zombie in the game. That defeats the whole purpose of the server spawning the zombies on restart instantly before anyone connects. That's my computer getting that zombie, placing it there, and then telling the server it should be here in front of me.
Yeah, and then another issue that we have is you can remove certain things like buildings and grass and all that stuff. And if it was server side, right? If the network bubble required these things to be done server side, then why is it players can join servers without buildings, without trees, without grass?
Exactly. I have sent Rocket a private message trying to talk about this issue. I haven't heard anything back yet, unfortunately. I'm guessing he's busy with the Christmas period.
Yeah,
fair
of
enough.
course.
But the server should be forcing the buildings, the grass, the trees, everything onto my PC, onto my game in front of me on my screen, not me telling the server I only want to see this, this, and this. If I turn around and say I don't want this building, I shouldn't be allowed in that game. I should not be allowed to even start the game because it's not legit.
Well, and we've also been killed by people that are inside of these said walls and issues, and they're able to see through buildings and all that other good stuff.
We have, and
we have on
it is
video.
really annoying.
Yeah. And like that to me was a big problem because I don't want to sound like a jerk, but they took a year off to reframe the entire structure of the game, right? Like they took a year off to fix the network bubble and do all these things with the programming, right, inside the game. But in reality, what we see is it's basically just a repackaged, or it looks like a repackaged version of the Arma 2 mod with enhanced graphics.
Basically, from the files that you download when buying the game, they have taken the files from Arma 2 that's needed to run DayZ mod, consolidated them into a single folder, and produced their own separate launcher with the server search parameters hard-coded into that. Basically like Breaking Point. You've got their launcher, you find their servers, it's their game.
Yeah.
Using the Arma 2 or the Arma 3 game files that you downloaded. DayZ is doing the exact same thing, just consolidated into a single folder. It doesn't seem like it's a completely brand new separate game. It's just been copied and pasted.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we don't have a developer here to correct us or whatever, and we're not trying to start some sort of shitstorm. What we've just seen is we've done our own tests and we've seen some really interesting things on DayZ, and what the conclusion we've come to is players are now really able to cheat and take off things like trees and buildings and grass, and it really fucks with the integrity of the game because, I mean, that's no better than some of the scripts and the hacking that have been going on. And it's actually happened again in Standalone, and if all those things are server-side, then I don't know. That just doesn't make sense how we can remove them on our side and, we're still allowed on those servers. Also, I'm sorry,
clarify
Alex.
something.
I'm sorry.
I just want to clarify that you when you do this, you're not doing you're using no third-party program, right? You're not using any third-party. You're just going into the files and changing a bit of code, right?
No, you're not even changing any
just
code
change the
at
setting?
all. No, you are basically removing a building. That is literally what you're doing. You go into your files, you find it, you remove it. That's it. Simple. This can be fixed, however, by changing the server config file that Rocket or even the server hosters should have access to, by forcing people or clients connecting to have the exact same PBO file setup as what the server's running. If I go and delete my buildings, for example, I can join a server right now. Now, if they go and change that server config file to force clients to have the same PBO setup, I will not be allowed to join that server. That fixes that problem straight away. I don't understand why it can take so long. I've messaged Rocket over a week ago now. Fair enough with the Christmas period, I give him his due. But just changing that config file takes 30 seconds, less than that probably. It should have been one of the first things added into the latest rolling patch.
Yeah. I would give him is giving the benefit of the doubt that this was just one of those things that they rushed out for alpha. So
Yeah. It was
I'm
probably an
hoping.
oversight for sure. No. I mean, I'm sure they're going to change it, but the whole point of us talking about it here is so that if other people hear about it and then it ends up on
Exactly.
Reddit and it ends up going back to them, they see that this is a significant issue from the players.
Right.
Because I don't know if you guys check the DayZ Reddit every day, but sometimes you get these fucking wall of posts that nobody wants to fucking read that shit. But people are more apt to like watch something like this or just have a discussion with themselves, and then maybe word gets back. But that's what we're trying to do is illuminate the issue here. It's being brought to the surface. This is an issue we've had. This is a discussion we've obviously had internally before. But as long as other people are aware that this shit happens, maybe it gets changed in the future and stuff. Again, I'm not here to critique them. I enjoy the game, but this is a significant issue about the game. Also, James, you were telling me of a way to increase your FPS.
Yes, that was right. That was as well using the same exploit of just removing grass. There's a single add-on which removes grass entirely from your game. Now, I don't personally see this as an exploit, as it could be balanced out quite nicely. It basically makes your game look exactly like the Arma 2 mod on very low settings for the terrain. And it gave me a ridiculous boost in FPS. With the recent server updates, though, I can only say I've got about 20 FPS boost in total now. But before, I was seeing frame rates of 150, and that's on a mid-range quad-core computer at the moment.
And it's just as easy as just taking out the PBO file for the grass.
Yeah, that's all it was. Just remove that one file, and I went from 20 FPS struggling everywhere up to 50, 70 FPS everywhere.
Huh.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are going to moan saying, what happens if I'm sniping above Cherno in the grass? People are going to see me. All they have to do is, like the Arma 2 mod, when you lowered your terrain settings, the grass wasn't there in the distance. Mm-hmm. But if there was a sniper over in the distance in the grass, his body was invisible until he stood up. Once he was out of the, say, sight of the invisible grass, that's when you'd be able to see him again. It's quite a simple and easy fix. I can't see many problems arising from trying to implement that, but it should be one thing that's added to the options menu in game, purely to open up the variety of people that can play the game. There's quite a few people on laptops that are trying to play this game. If they remove the grass, they will be able to play it with, somewhat decent frame rate.
Well, speaking of playing the game, so some of the craziest... Alright, which glitch is more annoying? The ladder glitches where, when you go down a ladder, sometimes you have a chance to die? Or what happened to me the other day at the ACT when you die on the staircase? Which one do you think is more annoying?
That is tough. I would probably say the latter, because at least with the ATC, you run on the stairs, you could say, oh, well, I don't know if I died by a headshot, or I don't know if I died by the stairs. But with the actual or the ladder, you grab onto it and you get flung off, only to be back on the ladder, but when you reach the ground, you die.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but watching the ladder glitch death is kind of hilarious, to be honest.
It's funny if it's not you.
Yeah. But yeah, I got to agree with the ladder as well. If you're up a ladder, you try to come down it because you're all safe or whatever, and then all of a sudden your body's getting flung across the map. Bad things are going to happen. That needs fixing. Whereas, if you die on the stairs, you can always run back to that. If you die on the ladder, your body's sort of God knows where.
All right, so in 2014, Rocket has already discussed a bunch of, a litany of issues that are going to be fixed. So let's discuss the ones that he brought up in particular. We discussed it a little bit earlier. We said there are going to be more zombies, and we had this complete discussion or whatever about either increase the number of zombies or just alter the different types of zombies. So we'll stay out of that one. Now, multi-threaded servers. What's the opinion here? That's what they're trying to do in 2014. It should be early 2014 and ongoing. It's to insist with increasing player and zombie numbers. It's tied in with the server architecture and all that stuff. How important, right? So is it not important, important, extremely important? Well, where would we rate this, Alex?
Oh, I would say in the middle. In the middle.
All right. So it's just important.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you, Jay?
Later on down the line, I would have said it was very important. Right now, there's a lot more problems they need to work on before doing these things.
Yeah. Oh.
So respawning zombies and loot, which we kind of again touched on earlier, but for the sake of it, which one? Is it not important, important, or very important?
Very important. I believe that's the.
Do we
I
think
agree.
that's the number one issue? Is the zombies?
The number one issue is the bodies.
Okay.
Yeah, bodies, loot, zombies for now, anyway.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So I don't know. This is ongoing, but the server management options, right, for people that own their own servers, whatever, and all that stuff. Not important, important, very important.
I'd say important, medium. That's not.
Okay.
So I disagree. Like, people that are hosting their own servers, they should be given very limited options at the moment.
Okay, why do you say that?
Well, with the mod, there was a lot of abusive admins on there. You could join
Oh,
a server
yeah, for sure.
and get kicked because they're loot farming with their friends, but
That's actually happening now, though.
Well, it is, yeah. That's because the server files all got leaked very quickly. But I do believe recently, was it 0.29 server patch? He's removed all the private Hive servers or anything now from the network bubble.
I think that you should be able to have the people who want to be connected to the main Hive. Yeah, I don't think that private servers should exist right now. They should be like one of those an after total release of the game, after it's been out for a while, then you sort of like a software development kit type deal where you kind of release it to the public. But I think everything should be kind of closely tight knit. Vanilla Daisy was one of the best, and then as it got older, the mods came out, and you really looked forward to each of the mods. So that's my view on it.
The mods needed spacing out a little bit more though in time, so to speak,
Right.
because it was, you jumped onto one mod, you had fun for a week, and then there was a brand new mod out straight away, and this, you give it a month or so before the next one, and it gives people a time to actually enjoy the new mod, get a feel for it.
Well, I think a big
Oh, yeah.
problem we're having is that like us, right? So we like the Epoch mod. We play the Epoch mod a lot. I feel like this standalone is very naked, right? Like, I mean, again, we know it's a standalone. We know it's a game that is in development, and it's not finished and all that stuff. But as amazing as the game is, as good as the game is, it's still very empty. Like, there's still not a lot. So like, I always compare this like to Epoch. I'm like, oh man, it's kind of boring right now. And it's not its own fault, right? Like, this is the disclaimer that is, once the game's open, it gives you a disclaimer. Like, look, this may not be, up to your liking. But I feel like some of those mods, it's kind of changing the way that I play this one because, like I said, the whole kill on site thing, it's basically because we have nothing to do.
I completely agree with that. Although I probably will get hated on for saying this, I would look forward to a similar game type mode, similar to Rust, I'd say, where you can go and hatchet some trees, gather wood, go and craft, some wooden fences or something, and start building your own little secluded base or house or something. That'd be quite nice. That'll give us something else to do rather than just go around and hunt fresh spawns.
Okay, let's have that discussion. I don't really play Rust. You guys have played Rust. What from Rust, aside from this, of course, could we take into the standalone, inject it, and feel like the standalone was a much better product because of it?
Probably the base building, something to call your own. Maybe you could just really just bring that from Epoch.
Oh,
Make it more personal.
Just the base building sort of thing. It gives you something to do. Keeps everyone happy. Yeah.
That's interesting. Is there anything else that you can do on Rust in particular that you can't do on DayZ that is pretty cool?
Yeah, you can get naked.
Oh yeah, you can get naked. That's pretty cool.
Oh man, why does that not surprise me coming from Alex, huh?
Oh god,
just a Schlong King. Oh boy.
At least I'm the king.
It's the option to decensor naked bodies as well. That's kind of fun.
Oh boy.
That's just like the immaturity coming out on us now.
Yeah.
Another thing is the radiation on Rust, where you would go into a town, you couldn't spend a lot of time in town, because if your radiation poisoning got too high, you had to leave, otherwise you'd take damage. That's something that it's an interesting, because you could run into a town, let's say, loot, but you had to do it quick. You couldn't camp inside it, and then you had to leave.
Radiation poisoning? Like, did I miss something?
On
That's
Rust?
the infection that's causing zombies. Radiation?
It's another. I believe that's what causes the mutated zombies. It gives like a story to tell.
Game's hard.
But yeah, you could have like radiation suits and stuff like that. I just think that DayZ just needs a little more items and more things to do, and that would slow down the KOS.
Yeah, definitely crafting. Yeah, if I could go and make myself a homemade silencer, which I believe he's thinking about implementing, that'd be fun. If I go around and find some duct tape and a tin can, that'd be more fun. Something extra to add to it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm back and forth. Like, I don't mind the kill on site thing, but I guess that's also because right, like, I'm game for kill on site. I guess a lot of people look at DayZ differently. I would like teamwork and big groups to work, but I also think the spawning system is the biggest deterrent for that, because the bigger your group is, if one person dies, you spend fucking 45 minutes waiting for this guy to come back to you. Do we feel like they need another like a DayZ Origins type deal where they allow you to spawn in a particular town that you want?
I think you could do it as something like what Rust did, is have your sleeping bag. You craft a sleeping bag and place it down somewhere, and you could respawn there once, and then it would have a timer for us at the time.
Mobile spawn point, yeah. But then that could be destroyed by other players. If they see it, they can go and destroy it, so you can't spawn there. Or if
that's
you spawn
smart.
much, you've got a cooldown timer before you can spawn there again.
That's actually pretty slick. I like it. Wow. Really, I didn't realize that was added. Huh.
Another cool feature that Rust had that might be interesting for DayZ is that when you log out in Rust, you lay down and sleep where you log out. The server keeps you in game 24/7. So you basically are unconscious, sleep, whatever. But if you had to implement that in DayZ, people would have to like go north or somewhere hide. Just something.
Whoa, that sucks.
You could loot.
That would have to be implemented later on down the line when, say, there's base building. Because at the moment,
of course, yeah.
If I go and fall asleep on the coast, someone's going to find me and I'm going to be pissed when I wake up in the morning.
But why not just have it to where you log out, the server keeps you there for like a minute or two and then you disappear? Like
that too.
I don't like this stuff that's going on with this combat logging stuff, which brings me to the next thing that he had, the additional anti-hack and security. Not important, important, very important.
Extremely important.
Yeah.
Game
I gotta
breaking
agree.
important.
Yeah. Did you guys see the video of the guy? So some guy is looting inside of a barracks, and this fresh spawn starts punching the wall, and because it sounds like somebody shooting at him, he combat logs right away. The fresh spawn, I guess he goes in and then he takes the gear and then he just leaves. The gear that guy was gonna loot.
Oh,
How
yeah,
ridiculous is that? Yo, it's ridiculous. Like, I think the combat logging is pretty bad right now. I think that's definitely a
first sign of trouble.
significant
Forward.
issue. Well, another thing too is, so when you die, so if I shoot you and you log off, you're still alive.
Yeah, as long as you haven't seen the "you are dead" screen yet. You literally get shot once, hit escape, hit exit, and spawn into another one. You can just bandage yourself up quickly, and you're good to go again.
Yeah, I mean, that thing pisses me off. Like the other day we had it. Remember when we go to kill this guy? He gets shot up. It was in Belota, I think. He gets shot up. He, I guess, goes into another server. Comes back into our server. The same guy comes and shoots us, and he ends up killing one of us. And we're like, what the? You're supposed to be dead. Same gear and everything.
Ghosting.
I think that's
It's
a little
yeah,
ridiculous.
It's terrible.
And it happened to us too, north of Zelindagorsk. Remember?
Mm-hmm. They were chasing us, trying to ghost ahead of us.
Yeah.
We got the better of them though.
Yeah. But oh my goodness, man, game is so hard. So this is extremely important. Animals and hunting. Target delivery early 2004.
Being a hunt down an animal and take some raw meat and be able to cook that and gather some of your hunger back or even blood. Oh, I can't wait. Like the other day on stream, I think it was last night, actually, I was just sat there hatcheting a bunny rabbit for about 20 minutes trying to kill it. I was just hitting nothing but rock.
Are they
I can't wait
fast?
for that. No, it just stood there. It was a little bit confusing. Like the animals don't seem to move, but you know, I can't wait to be able to. Yeah, even if you can track them, that would be nice.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, and then you can also make a thing of it, right? Like, you can hunt game. You know, like I don't know if it's ever going to get to that point, but like bears and tigers and all that stuff, and maybe like the hero skins that they had in. I believe it was Daisy Origins. You could do something like that. Like if you're a hunter, you get this cool ass face paint or some bullshit. Like that'd be really cool.
It was Eastern Russia. It's to take place the Chanars is Eastern Russia. You should be able to hunt all sorts of wild game.
Hell yeah! Especially those Russians. They're game for anything aggro. You should see them on Dota.
It'd be good as well, a bit of a plot twist if you're hunting, say, a wild deer, and then there's a pack of wolves or something slowly sneaking up to try and get the same game as you are.
Yeah.
Spot you, and then you've got to fight for your life against some wolves, and you lose the deer. Yeah, that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is sort of obvious, but is it not important, or very important to be released early 2014?
I would put on the kind of like the medium to like maybe an additional feature.
Oh, you guys really want this?
I mean, it would put it below all the others. It would definitely comes in pretty far at the end more, but it definitely a feature that would make a good addition to the game.
Okay. I could dig it. All right. And cooking and gathering resources. Early 2014. Gas cooker is already in game, and the creation of fireplaces will be allowing players to gather resources from the world, such as firewood, stones. This will be utilized by the existing crafting system. How important is this? So now all these items that we can pick up, like the rocks and like the gas cookers and all that shit, we can actually use.
Medium-ish, probably lower half.
Yeah, definitely lower half. Same with the animals and hunting, really. 'Cause, what's the good of hunting game if you can't cook them up afterwards?
That's true. That is a good point. All right, so I think we covered pretty much everything that we wanted to cover. So we think combat. So most significant issue that needs to be fixed as soon as possible. Dean Hall. according to Kamak, is
spawning or dead bodies disappearing.
what do you want to see though? Like how long? How long should they be there?
Oh, as long as the how long is a dead body around on the ground?
Yeah, but the thing is,
removed.
But okay, I don't know about that. I think 5 minutes they should despawn because
even then, the
thing is, could you imagine if all the dead bodies of so say everyone gets on and then they die once and they stay in the server? That means instead of population 40, you really have population 80 because their dead bodies are still there. I'm sure it's gonna fuck with the server somehow, right? Or am I crazy?
Maybe long enough to where you could loot it if you were within a reasonable distance.
Okay.
So
about 5 minutes and then it just despawns.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 5 minutes is good. It's plenty of time.
But to counter that,
Yes.
you could have the body despawn instantly, but all the loot that was on that body just gets sort of exploded into a surrounding area of that player's body. 10 feet or something. That frees up all the server space of having to keep a dead body there.
Yeah.
It also
I can see
helps with keeping loot there.
Yeah, I can see that.
Also, there's another point.
Sure.
I mentioned this to Trendall. I believe I mentioned to you earlier about books. I meant to bring this up earlier, but the whole when you find books, I know Trendall likes the books.
Yeah, he likes to read all 700 pages.
I would have thought it'd be cool. Maybe this is something that they've already thought about. But when you read a book or you pick it up and you read it, let's say you gain a little more ability to do in that area of what the book was about. Like if a medical book, you heal somebody a little more than what you did before, or something like that. A cooking book gives you more.
Yeah, like stats.
Right, just stats. And then you could have hardcore normal servers where you would lose the. Lose the stats and whatnot. That's just something.
Yeah, I thought that was a good idea. Especially for when hunting gets implemented. I don't know, blood eaten or blood gained from eating, cooked game or cooked meat. It's 5%. So if you're on the cusp of, I don't know how much 5% is. I don't know how the whole health thing works. I don't know how they chart that, but. Maybe you regen more health, or it gives you more blood, for something like that. I thought that was a great idea, actually. I actually really like that, and it also ties into correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Rocket and the dev team want this to be like an MMO, like a survival MMO? So I think that completely ties into that whole idea and notion that, that's within the realm of reason, right? Like you read a book on triage. So when you're healing or giving someone blood, right, or at least blood packs, so saline is 100% no matter what, right? Even if you're on but blood bags are not. They're I think
they're 1/5.
1/5. So maybe if you read a book, it's 1/4, or you read that triage thing, it's 1/4 or 1/3, or something like that.
Oh, the triage book could be the speed at which you bandage. Say you do some with surgery, but you can fix broken legs a little bit quicker with each sort of volume of that book, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So before we wrap this up, let's go to the chat. See if there's any questions. You guys have about 20, 30 seconds. You list questions. We'll take about 5 questions, and we'll discuss it on this small round table, and then we'll be on our merry way. This guy said, "Say my name." Alex, handle my lightweight. Say his name.
Bare Arms.
Not gonna
With
be a bitch like that on our own show. But he's down. He's always down for the freaky stuff. No, but are there any legitimate questions or things that maybe we didn't discuss, or things that you would like us to discuss? If not, we'll be wrapping this up. Anal gazer. None from you either?
He's always got something to talk about.
That's true. He lights up Alex's chat every day.
#1 fan.
No, I think that's all rounder.
All round soldier. Yeah, all round soldier.
All round soldier. What is the PC requirements? That's a good question. What do you think are the bare bones PC requirements for DayZ?
I read somewhere that it was the 560 GTX equivalent would be it was recommended 560. I think the 8800 GTS was the minimum, and it's not the video card really. It's the CPU, and I don't know, like people who running are going on like i7s 3.5 and up seem to have a pretty good grasp on frames on here.
Huh.
For a decent frame rate, you'd need a quad-core processor. I'd say running I'm not going to go into like specifics, but a quad-core processor that's running at, I'd say, about 3 gigahertz in speed, you'll be able to get a fair decent frame rate. You know, looking at about 20 frames. I know that doesn't sound decent, but for DayZ, that is pretty decent, to be honest.
All right. So
from what I'm playing with, anyway.
Yeah, well. So one user asked, and I normally don't answer this, but this is pretty funny. Alex, for all your fans worldwide, what is your sexual orientation?
Klingon. It's male.
I'm totally kidding. No, he's joking, guys. He has a lady friend. All right, well, so that's the first episode of Survival Training. I'd like to thank Adrian, staff of F3. He's just absolutely the best. I'd also like to thank Fitch, obviously Trendall and Kamak. Kamak, where can they find you? What's your stream?
Twitch.tv/Kamak86.
That's Kamak, obviously with his name, 86. Yeah. James?
If you want to check me out, my stream is twitch.tv/James Trendall. Or if I'm streaming at the same time with Alex, you'll probably see me on his stream.
Okay. My stream is F3 Frost, although you'll see me a lot more on Dota than you would anything else. But I do play with these guys, and they have a pretty unique thing where they end up having all of our streams on their streams so that you can see our feeds at the same time. So if we're like in a battle or something, you can see all the angles. That was an ingenious idea. I don't remember which one of you came up with that. I think it was Trendall, but that was really good. So just to wrap it up one last time, the biggest issue is players' bodies despawning almost immediately and the loss of all the gear and combat logging, correct? Those are the two big issues that we want fixed as soon as possible?
Yep, definitely.
All right, so Rocket or anybody on the development team, please, if you'd like to contact us for any feedback or anything else, or if you'd like to be on the show, anybody from Bohemia Interactive or the dev team in particular to answer a lot of our questions or any user questions, Frost at flipsidetactics.com. I do want to say that on our YouTube we'll have this. It'll be youtube.com/flipsidetactics, but instead of how it's normally spelled here is a 3 at the end of side, so FLIPSID 3tactics.com. Somebody else took our stuff. That was pretty bad. It was pretty lame. But alright guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We ran it today on a Monday. We won't normally do it on a Monday. I think we're going to be doing it on the weekends. It just so happened that this was a spur of the moment thing, so if you guys like it or whatever, we'll continue to do it. But we'll more than likely plan on this being a weekend show. Alright guys, have a good one. It was nice to do this show, and I'll see you guys next week sometime.
Yep, take care.
Take care, guys.